Hey, what's up, Starlight? Comet here. I'm going to be doing a tutorial for you guys today on a few different concepts. I'm going to be doing cradles, framing, and platforming, and then I'll also be doing a quick show at the end to feature those three concepts. So, the latter two of those concepts are extremely easy, and all three of them are very open to interpretation. The idea is that your hands are used as a tool to enhance your show. That's the idea behind all three of these concepts: cradles, platforming, and framing. It's that we can see your hands while you're doing an orbit show, so why not use them to accentuate your show? It's a lot like how handles are used to add a new moveset or add variety to your show. It's the same thing, except you're using your hands as the extension, as the tool instead of the handles. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. To understand these moves and to get them down, it's very important that I show you how I wrap first, because the way that I wrap the strings around my hands and the way that I hold the strings gives my hands complete freedom to do whatever they want to throughout the entire show. You won't see me holding onto the strings at all, and you won't see me pinching the strings. And if you do, it's just for like a quick second to get balance or whatever. So yeah, you can see that the way that I do this leaves my hands completely open the entire time. And I can still do pretty much all of the same moves. You know, wraps are still fine. Bounces work just fine. And, of course, pivots still work just fine. And if you notice, my hands are not closing around these strings at all. And, of course, you can still do all kinds of cool shapes without having to pinch or hold onto those strings. It's just a point of contact. Another really cool thing about this is that you're constantly changing up where the string meets your hands, so it's a lot easier on your hands as well, because you have several different points of contact and you're not putting all that strain on one part of your hand for the entire show. So, the way that I do it is I put my hands through the loops like that, and then it's about rolling your wrist to wrap. I like to catch it in the crook of my thumb, and then roll my wrist till I have it where at the length that I want it. You can also wrap individual fingers like this as well, or two fingers, or any combination of those. One way that I like to do a lot is I'll have it through the loops like that, in the crook of my thumb, and then I'll roll my wrist once, so it's right there, wrapped around my wrist, around my palm one time, and then I can start going in to individual fingers or two fingers, depending on how long I want the string. And the idea is that you're not pinching onto it, you're pulling against your hand, kind of, to make that tension build up. So yeah, you're not really putting too much strain on any individual part of your hand because you're changing it up constantly. You're always doing a different point of contact on your hands. That's going to relieve a lot of the strain on your hands. So one more quick recap. Through the loops, in the crook of the thumb, and then roll your wrist. No matter where you're rolling into your wrist, you're going to do the same thing. It's going to be rolling your wrist, whether you're doing fingers, whether you're doing wrists. It's all going to be rolling your wrist to wrap your strings. So yeah, so cradles. Anyone that's seen my shows knows that I absolutely love cradles. I don't think I've done a single show in recent memory that doesn't have a cradle in it at least once or twice. These are very open to interpretation moves. You can really do any number of things to them. Your imagination is the limit with it. So the whole trick behind cradles is you want to wrap up, get that string relatively short, and the way I like to do that is once over the palm, once over an individual finger, so I have it like that. And the general idea behind every cradle is that you want to catch that string with your thumb and then pull it back so that your fingers are in front of the orbit. There's 1,000 different ways to do this. Like I said, your imagination is the limit. Here's just a few examples. There's the basic cradle, cage cradle, diamond, and then really there's just any number of different things that you can do. Really the idea is just getting your thumbs, pulling that orbit back, and then meeting your fingers in different ways in front of it. So, you know, lots of different ways that you can do it. Imagination's the limit. And now on to the other two concepts. Let's do framing first. These are extremely simple concepts and very open to interpretation. So, the idea behind framing is to do something around the orbit while you're going. You can see your hands, so why not have them doing something that looks cool, right? So framing is really easy. Just do something around the orbit, make a shape, do a roll, do a finger roll, anything around the orbit to get your hands involved in the show. Also, wrapping and unwrapping can look cool if you want it to. You know, you can do rolls, time it in with the musicality to wrap to the certain string lengths that you want. And then the last one, again, a very, very simple concept that works really cool, and it gives a lot of depth to your show. It'll add 3 different layers of depth, and that's platforming. The idea behind platforming is lay your hand out in front, right in front of your viewer. Your orbit spins in the center, and your other hand forms the background. Really cool for shapes and things like that. Also really cool for close-in work because you can do mini circles right on top of that platform. So yeah, really cool concept. I should also mention that I use a light in my gloves. I wear gloves and I use one light in my thumbs in order to illuminate my whole palm. And the way that I do that is I take the light and I face it in towards my palm, and that way it lights up the whole hand and with a single color. So you don't have so much going on as you do with glorbiting, but you still have a full lighted palm. So yeah, hope that was helpful to you guys. We had cradles, framing, and platforming. And now for a quick show highlighting all those moves. Much love, Starlight. Thanks for watching.
Oh,